Yo, what's going on everyone, it's TK, and on today's video I'm going to showcase all the strategies with what equipments you should be running with them, and without any further ado, let's dive in. Okay, our first strategy is going to be Lalo. Now this does count as all the variations of Lalo except the Queen Charge, because don't worry, I'm gonna be talking about Queen Charge in a second. Now with the Lalo, one thing you need to make sure is that you have those abilities leveled up, because the levels do have some advantages over some of the other abilities, but it doesn't necessarily mean they should be better or worse. Now let's talk about this. For the king's ability and equipment, better say, sometimes I may call ability, guys, sorry, but for the king's equipment you really want to have that gauntlet with the rage, because these two are just a go-to, man. You are sending your king into a certain area of the base for him to get a certain value, and he will always get that value for you with the giant gauntlet and the rage spell. And if you have an earthquake, that basically sometimes could mess up your queen or even king himself pathing, because you might need to pop it early and he might run out of the base because of that earthquake. Now onto the warden abilities, because I'm going to talk about the queen in a second. With the warden, what I like to have with my Lalo, especially in Legends League, because you don't choose which bases you can hit, you just get the bases that the game gives you. With the Warden, the regular Warden, Eternal Tome is of course gonna be the key, and the ability after that, it's where people are struggling, and I would say the life gem is actually the one that you want to go for, because the life gem gives the loons a lot of HP boost, which they don't go down easily to those air bombs, the red air bombs I mean, or multi infernos, or two shot of a scatter shot. But at the same time, if you're hitting a war or if you're hitting a tournament, which you can choose the base, you need to Lalo, let's say, into 3 multi infernos, they are raged up, all that stuff. You can have the healing tome. Now the healing tome is going to heal through all that damage with the eternal tome when you pop it, so the loons can make it through the 3 multi infernos without actually needing to freeze it. So that's why the healing tome will be good. But in general, if you're Laloing in Legends League, or if you just don't have the healing tome really upgraded, go ahead with that life gem, because it's just gonna be more value for you. Now onto the queen equipment. This is also one of the major things that people don't consider, because with the queen having her to sui a certain side, you might actually not need to freeze or use invisibility or use skelly spells, just because the queen's arrow, the frozen arrow, can actually cost a lot of, of course, slow motion to other defenses, which could help you sui a lot more, especially when you're suing a town hall and you don't even need to pop the queen ability on the town hall itself, and you will still have even the unicorn alive. That's how a maxed frozen arrow will work. Now I don't know about the lower levels, but the frozen arrow is pretty hardcore. Now onto the next queen ability. Of course you want to have the invisibility with her, because it's the key to have that ability, man. It's going to give you that extra crazy damage boost that the queen does in the ability, and at the same time she's going to go invisible, so a few more seconds off your sui with that Lalo attack. For champion, of course, regular abilities. We're not going to talk about the champion in this video because she hasn't received any abilities yet, but moving on to a queen charge Lalo. Now I'm going to tell you other queen charge variant as well, but with the queen charge Lalo, again, because you're sending a king to get a certain value, you need to have the king with the gauntlet and the rage. But with the queen is where the problem comes. Now if you're a good queen charge attacker, that means you know how to look at your queen mainly, because some people start their armies, they forget about the queen, they're doing spell placement, they're doing CC kills, they're doing the sui with the king and RC. All this stuff will make you not look at the queen anymore, which means the queen could die through ability if you have that frozen arrow. But if you're a good queen charge attacker, go for it and run the frozen arrow and the invisibility, because they too are super good with the queen charge. But at the same time, you won't get that boost with the healing when the queen goes through ability, so make sure you know that. But let's say you're not a very good queen charge attacker, you're more like an average casual player that is doing a queen charge attack, or better say, of course, in this case, a queen charge Lalo attack. Now, I would suggest you to pick up that archer puppet. I believe, yeah, it's the archer puppet because it gives you that extra boost when you're not looking at the queen and the queen goes through the auto ability. But if you have the healer puppet also leveled up, just like my personal account, I have that healer puppet to level 16 now, which means I get 3 healers and they are decently leveled up. So 3 healers is going to help you if you already lost, let's say, 1 or 2 during your queen charge, because let's say because you're an average player or casual player, you didn't really have the time, or you didn't have the patience, or you were just not taking that much advantage of those loons that you have in your army, and you lost a few healers. So this way the queen can have more, and the healer puppet, guys, actually, if you're, let's say, charging a town hall and you're already behind the town hall but your healers are not there yet, which means if you pop the healer ability, your healers actually become the Coco loons themselves, because they're gonna come up and find all the traps that is always behind the town hall. So your regular main army healers, they're gonna be fine. That's why the healer puppet for me personally would be a high choice to go with a queen charge, just because me personally, guys, I'm not a queen charge attacker, so I can't move my eyes from the queen, and the queen is just gonna go through auto ability with the frozen arrow and die. That is what's gonna happen to me. So if you are like me as well, go with that healer puppet, or if you don't have the healer puppet upgraded, go with the archer puppet, because they are the best. And with the warden, same thing, man, same thing as I told you on the last strategy, the old Lalo strategies, with the life gem and the eternal tome champion, also normal. Now up next we got the super barge strategy, and this strategy of course is one of those ones that you can't forget, man. Come on, like, it's super barge, how can you forget it? Now with the super barge, of course, one thing I realized is that some people do get a lot of 1-stars, and you might be saying, how do you people get 1-stars where you're going opposite side of the town hall? That could happen, getting a 1-star, but I'm here to tell you there is base depending stuff. Now in the Legends League, I would suggest you to go with the king and the gauntlet, but with the earthquake boost. Now you might be saying, wow, why earthquake boost and the gauntlet, why not the rage? Well, I've seen a lot of my students and I've seen a lot of my friends do a 1-star because they're going opposite side of the town hall. Usually you can see now with the super archer clone, you don't get that much value. You open it in a way that you kind of make a way and a road to the town hall. If the town hall is so far and there's a lot of layers, your root riders will eventually die, guys, because there's monolith, there is spell towers, a lot of point defenses in town hall 16, and you will lose root riders and the early warden ability, which means if you have a king gauntlet and the king is behind the wall, or the king went to the outside of the base, you're basically risking a 1-star. But with the king's earthquake, you can actually open up a lot of the base for your queen, and she can have access to multi compartments, a lot of them. Trust me on this, because I can tell you now that the king's earthquake boost really saved me a lot of 1-stars, just because my root riders died early. But some strategies, they have, let's say, 5 or 6 root riders after the super archers. You are fine, you don't need that king's earthquake boost. You can go with the rage and that gauntlet, because they do a lot of good things. Now if you are going to do a war or a tournament attack that you're hitting a ring base, this is where I wouldn't suggest you to take that earthquake, just because the king and the gauntlet with the rage can demolish a ring style base so easy throughout the core, and it's just insane, and the earthquake boost will be really useless. But on those diamond or box spaces that have all closed walls, really toxic ones, this is where that earthquake boost will actually save you that 1-star that people get from going from the opposite side of the town hall. Now for the queen, if you have that frozen arrow leveled up nicely, take the frozen arrow and that invisibility cloak, because they are doing so good for me personally when I'm doing the barge on my other accounts. But let's say you don't have the frozen arrow itself, you didn't buy it, you went to buy a skin, or you just don't have it upgraded on a lot of levels, you can actually take the healer puppet again, or the archer puppet. Now the healer puppet, when you pop it, it's actually going to give you a lot of those healers behind your root riders, because sometimes the healers do switch. Sometimes you pop the ability and you don't find those air bombs and air mines. That way the healers being alive can actually heal your army, heal your queen, and if everything is dead, once you drop the RC, they can go and switch to the RC and heal her up as well. It's just free healers, why not to run it? So that's why I would go for the healer puppet with the queen mainly, if you don't have the frozen arrow upgraded. Now for the warden, what I'm going to tell you is going to be quite interesting, because some people take the healing tome because they want to heal those root riders. But I'm here to tell you, if you don't have a maxed healing tome, it's actually quite useless. You're not going to be able to heal through the root rider HP when you're dealing with all the damage in the core. So I personally recommend you to take the Rage Gem with the Warden, because the Rage Gem, guys, it's gonna boost all your army, make it faster, especially when there is these time fail issues currently in Legends League and Wars, and you just want to have your attack quickly and quicker to triple the base, especially in tournaments when there's 15 stars going on left and right. So you want to be faster than the enemy team. That way the Rage Gem can make whole your army for the entire attack faster, and it can make your unicorn heal the queen a lot harder. It's like hard hitting healing from the unicorn. So if your queen is low on HP, the unicorn can actually keep healing her back up to full HP in a lot faster way than a regular warden ability. That's why I would like to have the Rage Gem, especially when, let's say, you are like casual and average, you want to have the warden ability with the blimp. You can have those loons that you drop early on raged up. That way you can actually demolish early side of the base. Simple as that. Let's move on. Next strategy, we got the super bowlers. Now the super bowlers, I would suggest you to have the king, rage and gauntlet. You have the queen with the arrow, and of course that invisibility cloak. The arrow is just super good, man. You just need to make sure you pop the queen ability whenever you see she's going through a lot of damage, or the eagle has locked onto her and you are low on HP. Pop that ability, man. It's fine. Later on, you're gonna see when the queen is still alive for the back end, she can actually clear out a lot of the defenses by her own, even if the unicorn is down. Even if she can go through an expo with having no HP because he shoots super slow. That's just simply how it works. Now with the warden and the super bowlers, because sometimes you're doing a ring base attack, you're doing a double poison or even rage towers attacks, bowlers usually they go really low, and sometimes your healers might not switch. So I would recommend the healing tome, so you can heal the bowlers back up when the king is tanking with that gauntlet in the core for all those bowlers. That's when you can actually heal the bowlers back up to full HP. Simple as that. Let's go on to the next one, which is going to be super witches. Now with the super witches, I have two of the warden abilities for you, but normally you want to go with the king and the rage with the gauntlet. You want to go with the queen, I would say, with the healer puppet, and that's because if you're going through a core, your loons might die early, so your healers might find a few air bombs, or if you're hitting a box base, or let's say a diamond and a ring base, if you pop that queen ability right where your of course queen is, like on a lot of damage, you can get the healers coming out exactly like I mentioned, like a Coco loon. This is basically Coco healers, so you are protecting your own regular 5 healers that is behind your army with your queen ability. And if they're alive, better for you, you're healing more and more. You're having 7 healers in that base, or even 8 sometimes if you have the healer puppet on 15 and above like levels. So that way you can already see how it works. The healer puppet, like basically like a Coco healer. I'm gonna say it like that. Now for the warden, this is important because super witches, they don't usually need to have the eternal tome. They basically having full HP all out the entire attack, except when you're going through the town hall poison, or you're going through a ring base that you need to go again through a town hall poison. That's why you need the eternal tome. Otherwise, if you're doing an opposite side super witches from a box base or a diamond base or even an anti 3-star base, you can have actually no eternal tome, have the rage gem and that healing tome, or you can have the life gem. But I personally suggest the rage gem because it's going to kind of make the attack faster, just like the super barge. It's going to make the attack faster. It's going to have all your healers inside that rage spell, queen, unicorn, all those stuff with the king. Everything is going to be raged up really nicely throughout the entire attack. So me personally, I would take the rage gem and the healing tome, heal them up and having them raged up for an entire attack, except when you are knowing you are going to go through a tunnel poison. So take the rage gem and that eternal tome. Simple as that. Let's move on. We have the air spam attacks. I think you were waiting for this one, man, but I'm gonna tell you, with the air spam there's a few things that you can change depending on the base, but let's talk about in general what I would suggest. So for the king, I would like to have the earthquake and the gauntlet. Why is that? Personally, it's because whenever I hit, air spam, sometimes my queen and king goes inside the base. But on Legends League, there is a lot of bases now that the walls are closed. So the rage gem, not the rage gem, the rage and the gauntlet, basically, they do work a lot better than the earthquake sometimes. But whenever my heroes go inside the base, I want them to come to the outside or move to the next layer. Simple as that. But sometimes the earthquake did open a wall which my queen went and the CC came out. So you know what I'm saying? It's really depending on the base that you are hitting. But mainly, I think I would choose to go with the rage and the gauntlet, because that's just how you can crush like a back end, which is a crazy back end, and it's a hard hitting one. But for the queen, this is what I will tell you: forget about the frozen arrow, have the healer puppet and the invisibility cloak, because your queen, if she goes through ability on the end of the base or like on the edge of the base, with those healers she can come back to full HP by the time your king is tanking for the expo. Simple as that. We're gonna go for the warden. For the warden, you really of course want to have that eternal tome and the other equipment which I would suggest you to have if you're going through town hall poisons, like in box bases, or let's just say regular diamond bases that you have dragons to go to the town hall or any other air attacks. You really want to have the healing tome with your dragons, because they can heal back that dragon really nicely through that air bombs, the red air bombs, the town hall poison, all that good stuff, man. You can heal them up, and I wouldn't really suggest the rage gem, just because the rage gem doesn't give you that much value when you're already raging your dragons going through the base. So that's why I would suggest the healing tome and the eternal tome. Let's move on. We got the ground spam attacks. Now with the ground spam attacks, the thing you need to consider is that, are you going to reach the town hall? Especially in this meta, you might have already done a few 1-stars just because the town hall is too far. There is reasons for that. They want to put the town hall there so you can never reach it. But with the abilities that I'm going to give you, you can actually reach it whenever in whichever base you like. And that is the king with gauntlet and the earthquake boost, because the earthquake boots, I know a lot of you don't use it. I know everyone is currently running the rage and the gauntlet, all that stuff. But I think you realize that sometimes you are actually not getting the value out of the rage and your troops are all dead, because some attacks it happens, but especially in wars, if you are seeing a base that has a decently town hall kind of in the middle but a bit to the side, all that stuff, you can go with the rage gem. But in Legends League, that's not really up to you. There's a lot of bases that have very opposite side of the town hall base, and there is all options for that. You can go through the town hall poison, just spam everything in the town hall, I guess. But if you're going opposite side, you can never make it to the town hall. That's why people are getting 1-stars up in Legends League. But if you're an average player, this is what I would suggest, because it's gonna make your attack look a lot more professional. It's gonna make your queen to have access on a lot of the sides of the base, but still, that's completely up to you. I'm not here to tell you to just don't run the rage and the gauntlet anymore. No, you can run it, but if you get a 1-star, this is why it has happened, because the base was designed so your king and queen can never reach that town hall compartment. Simple as that. Moving on to the queen, I want you to have that frozen arrow, because you are going to be behind all your spam armies. Nothing is damaging the queen. Queen is not taking any damage. She can clean and clear a lot of buildings and defenses and enemy heroes, expose all that CC troops. Everything is gonna be nicely cleared by the queen, and then the invisibility cloak, which will be a nice thing as well. With the warden, again, because it's a smash army, like a ground spam army, you want to have the healing tome, healing back your root riders of course, and those Valkyries or whatever you use with the ground spam, and then the eternal tome. Now moving on, we got the Queen Charge Root Rider and other variations of Queen Charge. This is where, guys, I would suggest you again with the King Rage and Gauntlet. Then with the Queen itself, I really said it, in the Queen Charge Lalo, but I want to explain this a bit more. Now, for the casual players, whenever they are starting their attack, they're completely not looking at their Queen anymore. They don't even know sometimes that they need to drop their Rage, maybe then start the attack. So at least the Queen is getting that healing back up. Some of them, and some of you maybe that you start your attack and completely forget about the Queen. That's why if you have the Frozen Arrow, she will die. But if you're new to Queen Charge and all that stuff, you can go ahead with that healer puppet again, as I mentioned why in this video, with the Coco healers and stuff, and the invisibility cloak or the archer puppet if you don't have the healer puppet leveled up. These abilities will help you have a very much smoother Queen Charge. But if you're going to be a bit better, if you're practicing Queen Charge more and more often, if you're hitting a lot of bases and getting those nice triples, go with the arrow, but make sure you look at your Queen more. Whenever she goes a bit low, pop her ability manually, because if you go through auto ability, she will die. She will die really hardcore. And for the Warden, what I would suggest with a Queen Charge Root Rider attack is the healing tome, because in the base you can heal back up the Root Riders, but it's always controversial. Like, some people like to have the Rage Gem to make the attack faster, which me personally, I'm that some people. I like to have the Rage Gem making all my attacks faster whenever I don't need to heal my army. But with the Root Rider and the Queen Charge is a bit different. Sometimes you might go through a lot of damage, like 3 multi-infernos and double ricochet cannons with like a multi-archer tower. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. You want to go through them with the healing tome. But if you can choose a base in war and they have, let's say, single infernos or more point damage and defenses, you can just take the Rage Gem, because there is no point of a healing tome, because your Root Riders will die anyway. You're not gonna get them back up to full HP because everything is point damage. And moving on to the last strategies, which would be the Zap Smash attacks. We have the Zap Titans, we have the Zap Root Riders, I believe we have even the Zap Super Witches. Those stuff is really controversial. Like, sometimes you need this, sometimes you need that. It's all based depending, but I'm here to tell you about Legends League, and what I would suggest you to take would be King with Rage and Gauntlet, of course. Moving on, we have the Queen with the invisibility cloak and also the Frozen Arrow, because they are really good. And if you don't have the Frozen Arrow upgraded, go with the Healer Puppet. If you don't have the Healer Puppet upgraded, I would suggest the Archer Puppet at the end. But the Frozen Arrow is the key. And now, moving on to the Warden equipment with that Zap Smash armies. I would like the Eternal Tome on all of them, even on Super Witches with the Zap sometimes, because in Legends League it's different. You might go through Town of Poison. But in Wars, you can choose which base you want to go through. So as I told you about the Super Witches, you can have different Warden abilities. Now for the Eternal Tome, of course, then the next ability, I'm going to have actually the Rage Gem. I don't care about healing my armies like Zap Titan or Zap Root Riders. I don't really care about them. I want them to be fast. I want my, King, Queen, Unicorn healers, 4 or 5 Root Riders or Titans be quick. I want them to destroy a base, come out from the other side. The healing tome will make the army so much slower, guys, and instead of a maxed Rage Gem, it's actually going to make a lot of differences, because that army takes Warden Walks, it takes Flame Flinger and time. This one makes you go through the base faster and time fail a lot less, if you are even going to time fail, which in this case I don't think it can ever happen, having a time fail with the Rage Gem. The Rage Gem is so quick that it's actually underrated in this current meta. But that was it for the video. Hopefully you like it, enjoy it, and let me know if I missed any strategies in the comments down below. I will be responding if I missed any. But yeah, man, see you soon on the next one. Take care and peace.